if you were looking for points, then Oklahoma, Missouri was not the game for you. If you like defense, though, this is the one. This is the game you wanted to watch. A game in which you had questions about the offenses already, and you knew the defenses were going to be good. Honestly, if you were expecting points, that's on you. You just really, you shouldn't have expected that. And we saw some things for Oklahoma that if they're going to make a playoff run, they kind of need something specific to happen. We'll dive into that. But the thing I'll start with is this was a chippy game. I did not expect the level of intensity that this game was. Now, part of it is playoff opportunities still being on the line, and Bo Pribula's coming back. That doesn't really probably add to the chippiness, but maybe the belief that Missouri could win this game. But I don't see. I mean, it's been a while since Missouri and Oklahoma have been this consistent matchup, right? When they were in the Big 12 together, we saw it, but I did not expect it to be as chippy as it was. There was lots of jawing, pushing and shoving. Like, it was intense. And this is, again, we talk about the college football playoff and the expansion of it, and you can have your opinions of it, but I think that this chippiness, there's some natural intensity, but I think that the fact that there was still so much on the line led to a lot of the pushing and shoving, the jawing, the overall intensity of the game. And that's what made it so much fun. Yes, the game was boring in terms of scoring, but it was fun in terms of intensity. These two teams wanted to win so bad, and that added to a great environment. It was buzzing in Norman, Oklahoma. The fans were into it. Oklahoma has a ton of confidence. They know what is at stake, and so did Missouri. And that's a great combination of events to lead to what we saw today. Now, both offenses struggled. Missouri had a total of 301 yards and 70 yards rushing. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Oklahoma, 276 yards total. That was not the offensive performance that was going to put up points, right? You weren't going to see a ton of points with that lack of yardage. So we'll start with Oklahoma. This is an offense that, plain and simple, can lose Oklahoma games. This is the unit that is going to do that. If they're going to lose, it's not going to be because of the defense. It's going to be because the offense cannot be consistent enough. And while it was fun to watch John Mateer hit Isaiah Satenga for that 87-yard touchdown, hit him in stride. It was a nice ball. I like that. But overall, this offense is not consistent enough. And I don't think it's the play calling. I think Ben Arbuckle does a great job of calling the plays to put his guys in position to be successful. I think the execution is maybe just not there. Now, you do have to give some credit to Missouri. This is a Missouri defense that does not get as much love as it deserves. This is a group that has very good defensive line play. The linebackers are solid. The secondary has some good players as well. So this is a defense that has been better than a lot of people anticipated, and a defense that gave Oklahoma plenty of trouble, especially early on. This Oklahoma team did not look good. They did not have it together. They did not look comfortable. And until they had that 87-yard touchdown, there wasn't a ton that was going right for them. Now, John Mateer really holds the keys. Decision making, execution. He has the talent to be electric. He has the talent to move the ball through the air. You see all the different arm angles that everybody gets infatuated with, but the decision making is really what has to be better. And if you are going to win a national championship, if you're going to make a run in the college football playoff, then he needs to be a big reason why. And right now, this Oklahoma defense is the reason why they win games. They need to win a specific way, and they need their defense to play extremely well for them to have a chance. It's how they beat Alabama. It's how they beat Missouri. This defense is the real deal. They're so fun to watch. They play with a tenacity. They fly around the field. They rally to the football, and they created turnovers. 2 turnovers today, and they looked about as easy as you could get. Made some really nice plays, and this offense for Missouri did not have fun, even with Pribula back in the lineup. Now, when you look at what this team was able to do, Oklahoma held Ahmad Hardy to 57 yards. This is a guy who just had 300 yards rushing. Granted, that was against Mississippi State, but to go from that to 57 yards is a statement. They held Missouri as a whole to 70 yards. So overall, great performance by this team. They also had 8 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and they also, on third downs, they held Missouri to 3 of 15 on third downs. As soon as it was third down, it was a problem for Missouri. They did not look comfortable. They did not look like they were prepared to handle what Oklahoma brought to the table. And it's just another example of Brent Venables deciding that he's going to take over the play calling on defense, and that clearly was the right move. This team is night and day on defense as it was last year. Now the offense needs to do the same thing at some point if they are going to make a run. But I think the talks of Brent Venables on the hot seat can completely go away. You do have to solve the offensive struggles, but I think that another year you see what Ben Arbuckle's able to do. John Mateer, if he can take a step in his development. I think this was a tough year for John Mateer for various different reasons. You had the surgery, the injury, you had his first time playing, honestly, actual competition and elevated competition to what he saw last year. That's a lot to process. To be able to start the year against that new competition and then to have a surgery, miss some time, and then come back. I think there were a lot of things that he needed to process and didn't get an opportunity to do that. So now you get it after this year, and it'll be interesting to see how he learns from that in 2026. Now for Missouri, this wasn't your best performance, right? The defense you have to give some credit to. You held Oklahoma just 4.5 yards per play. And I thought this defense did everything that it could to keep Oklahoma in check. And honestly, that 187-yard touchdown was one of the few mistakes that they made today. And even if they take that away, it's still a 10-6 loss. So the defense isn't to blame. Now the offense, you could say that Pribula coming back, there was going to be some time needed for him to get comfortable once again, but I think that that's just how good Oklahoma's defense is. This Missouri offense wasn't going to be able to move the football on them consistently, and that much was very evident. We saw that, and it's a tough way to lose, but you at least know you're doing something right if you're Eli Drinkwitz. Your defense plays with a ton of intensity. They play the game with some passion. There's still fight in this group. And there are some good things going on in Missouri, and I don't think that they are going to see a drop-off anytime soon. But to play this Oklahoma team, you needed to play well offensively, and that just didn't happen. But both teams should feel good about their defenses. If you're Oklahoma, the playoff is going to be a rude awakening if your offense doesn't figure things out. Because as good as your defense can be, if they have one bad game, that's the end of your season. That is the end of the season, and it's over after that. So John Mateer and the offense have to find another gear. Find some more of those explosive plays. Get him into a position where he's making those smart decisions. He's making those good throws, leading his receivers. Because if this offense finds that next gear, Oklahoma is going to be a major problem in the college football playoff.